Hi, everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of the Impact Series hosted by 40. My name is Michael Palmer. I'm one of the founders here at 40 and lead recruiter. And today, delighted to be joined by Greta Schindler, who is one of the co-founders and chief marketing officer at COCOLI. Greta, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michael. I'm very happy to be here.
We've obviously had a little chat and to get to know each other. But COCOLI is a super cool company. All around pre-loved, pre-owned furniture. But one thing that I did just want you to point out is that the name COCOLI actually stands for something. So would you mind, as you introduce the business, tell us what that actual COCOLI actually stands for as well, please.
Yes, thanks. Happy to do that. So COCOLI is a marketplace for secondhand furniture, and the name actually stands for Community of Conscious Living. So COCOLI, yeah. You can see that our mission and all that we do is really much focused on sustainability in that, and also in our community. And yeah, we just launched the company about 1.5 years ago. It's a Berlin-based startup. And here we are.
Yeah, perfect. Like we've got lots of very cool things, lots of great things to talk about. But for those people that aren't familiar with you, obviously you mentioned that they're a marketplace for for pre-used, pre-loved furniture. I think I quite like that term, pre-loved furniture, pre-owned. Can you, obviously it's a big issue, circular economy, pre-owned goods, whether it's furniture, fashion, everything. But what are the kind of climate issues that COCOLI is helping to address via your business model, and what is your specific kind of approach to that, solution to that particular problem?
So at COCOLI, you can actually buy not only pre-loved items, which would be used items, but also any type of furniture, lamps, or decor articles with imperfections, meaning showroom pieces, returns, and also secondhand and vintage items. So what we are actually tackling is the consumption of new items, right? So we're trying to give items a second life, or furniture a second life. And why did we decide to go in this direction? Well, first of all, the market is a huge market. It's a huge market, and it's a huge pollution problem. So the global furniture market is $638 billion. Out of that, 5% are right now in the second-hand market. So it's around $32 billion big. And the European furniture second-hand market, where we are moving currently, is $11 billion. Is $11 billion big. If you look at it, just in the US alone, 15 billion tons of furniture go to waste every year. And out of that, only 20% are actually recycled. So we have 11 billion tons of furniture that go to landfill. And it's really, it's huge. And it's most of those items are actually under 15 years old. So we are moving into this type of fast furniture, not only fast fashion, but also fast furniture industry. And obviously this is not good. And we see a huge potential for many items of furniture can be saved from landfill with approaches like COCOLI.
Brilliant. Okay, and so you're able to give a platform, give an alternative to someone to kind of this, essentially throwing away a piece of furniture, to actually enable someone else that might want that to buy that, enable them to kind of to purchase that. Now look, obviously as a concept, as a model that already exists in various forms, obviously we're kind of, eBay is a kind of, is a marketplace we're all familiar with, but what sort of separates COCOLI from an eBay or something similar to that? What makes that the experience different from actually working with yourselves, purchasing for yourselves?
Yeah, thanks for that question. So first of all, it's the offer. Yeah, as I mentioned before, it's not only secondhand, but we're also selling b-ware, we're selling overstock, we're selling showroom pieces, we're selling returns. So in this regard, you have a huge area of items that some of them are completely new, but they're just not being able to be sold as new anymore. Yeah. The second thing is that we check every single item that you find on our platform. or for condition and for quality. So we have a curation team on board that checks the items. Do they fit the quality standards that we're looking for? Does it fit the style that we're looking for? Most of the items we're selling are contemporary items, but we also have a small part of vintage items. So we also have to authenticate the items there. The second part that we do differently from other known platforms is that we are taking care of the whole logistic. So for a C2C person or a C2C interaction, so if you want to sell privately a designer table or designer sofa to another private person, you can do that through us. And what we offer you is we take care of the whole logistic process. So if the item requires it, if you require it, we can come to your home, we wrap the item, we take it with us, we ship it to the person, we actually deliver into the living room, not just to the doorstep, which is also something that's really high appreciated for heavy items.
Definitely.
And the third part is our prices. So our prices are always under the original price because, of course, we're selling something that's not pristine anymore, but you can save up to 70% versus the original price through our platform.
And so look, Greta, and obviously we know about, with these items, it's obviously a lot more sustainable to, like, as a consumer, to buy something that's already in existence, whether that's pre-owned or defective. But I mean, have you got any statistics about how much better that is for the environment, how much more sustainable that actually is?
Yeah, for sure. So I think we need to first think about what it means to buy a secondhand item versus a new item. So a new item doesn't only mean that it has to be produced and that you have to get, primary resources to create it, but there's also a big transport, like a transport network involved in that. And you have to probably ship resources from Vietnam to Poland, and then you have to create the item in Poland maybe, and then you have to ship it to, I don't know where you're going to sell it. And then if there's a return, you have to ship it back to Poland. So there's this whole world of consumption that's happening while you purchase something new. If you purchase something that's already existing, and in our case we're serving the German market, so if it's already in Germany or in close to where we serve it, this means, of course, first of all, you don't have to produce it. Second of all, you don't have to bring it in, and this also is something very practical for the consumer because, for example, shipping times are very, very low for us. The item exists, it's in our warehouse, we ship it within 2 to maximum 7 days. And whereas, the standards in the industry for, like, for example, a new sofa can be up to 16 weeks or even higher. So this is also something very convenient. But coming back to the stats of the sustainability. So as an example, if we look at a sofa, at a 2 to 3-seater sofa, let's say a production of a new 3-seater sofa is 98 kilograms of carbon, so CO2. So basically you have a footprint of 98 kilograms of CO2. And when you purchase a secondhand item, you save this directly. And to put this into context, I think the German average of carbon footprint a year is around 10 tons of CO2. So that would be already around 1% that you can save of your total carbon footprint of the year. Of course, it's not 100% clean like this because we still need to ship it to you, which again is transport cost, but it's around that. And this would be the equivalent of what around 4,500 trees can actually absorb in 1 day of CO2. So to put it a little bit into context, because it's a little bit of an abstract
it's good. I like to put it in context. So you can say, look, 4,500 trees. You also worked out that it's about taking 15 cars off the road daily as well. I think you said as well. So it's not, I always wonder, what does 98, what does that actually equate to? So it's good to kind of bring that to context. One of the things I really love about COCOLI is the fact that obviously it is very sustainably focused. It's a business focused on giving these existing items a second life, in effect. But I think, and that will appeal to a lot of people. So there are a lot of sustainably minded consumers out there. That's the kind of primary goal. That's their kind of primary, when they are looking at a brand, they're looking at making a purchase, the first thing they think about is how sustainable is that company? How does that sit with my kind of values and my morals? But equally, what I also really love is that, like you said about the price saving, because there is a consumer out there that thinks, actually, yeah, if I can buy sustainably and consciously, I will, but price is also important to me. So if that is going to cost me double the price it would cost me to buy, another sofa, I'm probably going to go for the cheaper one. So actually, what it kind of meets that kind of really nice pinnacle where it's better for the planet, better for the environment, but also potentially cheaper. And in the current financial environment we're in, saving a few euros or even maybe hundreds of euros is obviously going to be beneficial to most people's wallet as well. So I think that's super cool that it's kind of, it's a beneficial from a price point, but also from a sustainability point as well.
Yeah, totally. I think it's important. Look at it this way. You're looking to buy a sofa and you already know where you're going to put it, and it maybe is pushed against the wall. And then COCOLI comes along and gives you the sofa for 30-40% less, and it has a scratch on the side just where it hits your wall. So you would be able to live with this. No. This is something that we try to show the imperfections on our website. You can call the customer service if you need to know more. We really want to make sure that you as a customer receive what you expect, and to make sure that you are able to live with this little imperfection, and then you can save quite some money with it. Yeah, for sure. In this context right now with inflation and also with, the gas prices going up and everything, in general, it's definitely one of the reasons we see why people are drawn to COCOLI. Yeah. And actually what you mentioned earlier, I have a little data for that, which was published in Möbelmarkt, which is from the HDE Handelsverband from Germany. And it actually says that they did a big survey, and 58% of the participants in Germany already confirmed that sustainability plays a big role when they think about their next purchase. So this is already really, really big. And I think one of the reasons, or some of the reasons, is that we're looking at consumers that are every day, we're having younger consumers coming on the consumption stage, and they are very much conscious. They are not only sustainability conscious, but also on price. They're focused on price, and they are usually very also digitalized, so digital savvy. So this is a great combination. You have the younger customers. They are looking for good prices. They're looking for sustainable consumption. They are moving in the digital world. 2/3 of people that buy secondhand have used digital platforms when they buy secondhand. So for us, this is really like a huge possibility. And also the younger generation usually helps the older generation to also accept
to adopt it as well.
Standards.
Yeah, but and also as an industry, we were talking about this earlier, but fashion obviously was one of the first to really adopt second-hand pre-owned goods. But obviously the furniture industry is now really moving in that direction as well. So we were talking about, you've got some stats, haven't you? I think in terms of the industry and the growth of the industry compared to fashion.
Yeah, so I think fashion is very interesting. It was, I guess, after used books, momox, for example, and used cars, which nowadays nobody, doubts the option that you can buy a secondhand car or used car, which is the complete standard. After that, I think fashion and fashion accessories were the first major industry to come on the market with the secondhand approach through amazing platforms like eBay, Vinted, Vestiaire Collective. And I think we can see that there's a trend from furniture that goes, from fashion that furniture follows. Yeah. As it was with fast furniture and fast fashion, for example. Actually, right now, we know that there's the resale market for fashion is growing 3 times stronger than the fast fashion market. And it's supposed to become twice the size of the fast fashion market in 2029. So you can see there's a huge trend. It's actually bigger than the trend that we had before. And I think furniture follows in that footsteps.
Yeah, I mean, it's look, big, huge growth for the consumer, but also a huge growth potential for businesses like COCOLI as well to kind of capitalize on. And I say it doesn't just stop there. I mean, I had on the show recently Thomas Gross from CircuLi, So they're a Berlin-based kind of startup similar to yourself, but their focus is on pre-used IT equipment. So they provide, which is, similar. It's, it might have been used for a year, but it's still perfectly usable. But quite often it just ends up as e-waste in landfill. And so it's, again, it's already in existence. These, like your sofas, your tables, everything. It's so much more sustainable, better for the planet to use an item that's perfectly fine rather than ending up in the bin. So it just makes. And if you can save a little bit of money doing that as well, I mean, it's kind of win-win for everybody.
Win-win. Yeah, for sure. Technology is a great example that I didn't mention earlier. Yeah, for sure. Very important. Yeah.
Cool. So, I mean, in terms of the business, then we'll kind of come on to kind of what the future looks like. But you're pretty young as a business, like founded a year and a half ago, I believe you said, around about 35 employees, I think. But you've also had some pretty exciting news recently on the funding perspective. Do you want to kind of talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So we launched COCOLI in January last year. So we've been on the market only 1.5 years at this point, as you mentioned. We recently closed a seed financing round. So we're very happy and very proud of that, especially in the market that we're seeing, in the overall, the macroeconomic situation that we are in right now. And something that personally, and also as a company, we're very proud of is that the lead investor of our financing round has been an impact fund, Ship2Be from Spain. And this brings like a whole new dimension of sustainability to the business, because it introduces not only business KPIs in terms of GMV and unit economics, etc., but also the KPIs of sustainability. Like, for example, how many tons of CO2 can we save each year with our business? How many tons of waste actually can we save? And yeah, cool. It's just a really good feeling. The other investors that we have on board are also super strong. Adevinta, which you might know from Kleinanzeigen, so super strong, knowledgeable, amazing network in the secondhand world. And IBB, Investment Bank Berlin, also very, very important for us. So yeah, very, very happy about this seed round.
Some big names, some important names there as well. So that's again, the funding in itself is fantastic, but obviously to have investors of that caliber as well it shows the faith and from the market in COCOLI, which is great. So look, we discussed what it looks like at the moment, but what does the future hold? So if we're fast forward 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, what does the future look like for COCOLI?
Yeah, so a little bit what are we focusing on now, and what are we focusing on with this closed financial round? One of the things is automation. So we are automatizing our warehouses. We're automatizing the way we work with brands to upload faster. We actually went from 200 products when we launched to 350,000 product depth already. So there's a big part of automation and also working with artificial intelligence to do all that. This is one of the parts. The other part is, of course, investing in the team. And then we are focusing a lot on the sustainability part. One of the things, and I think you are, I actually see it in your background, you are B Corp certified.
Indeed, very proud of that.
Yeah, congrats on that. I know it's a hard road or a long road to get there. And so we're currently in the process of getting B Corp certified, which of course gives even more trust in our ability to make make a difference sustainability wise and also social wise.
Yeah, I think that biased obviously because we've gone through that process ourselves. So I think the movement's fantastic, but I think that would also just give yourselves that stamp of approval. For those people in the know about B Corp, you see it on the product and you think, okay, brilliant. That's I know I can buy from that company, and I know that their business is 100% sustainable. They've gone through this rigorous check and verified externally by an independent body to kind of prove that. So look, I'm biased because we are certified, but if when I'm making purchases, I do keep an eye out for that, and if there's an opportunity to buy something from a B Corp certified company, I do that, and there are, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that go through that similar process. So I think that would be a really cool thing for you to go through, get certified. It does take a while. I know we discussed that earlier. So yeah, the journey is long, but it is well worth it in the end.
Thank you. Yes, we're working on that.
Fantastic. Well, look, I think that kind of brings us toward the end of our time really today, Greta. So it was brilliant chatting to you. Really great doing a deep dive into COCOLI, learning more about the company. The future is definitely bright. You're moving in a sector that's rapidly growing, as we discussed. And as we also discussed, making something that is a product that we can buy sustainably, cheaply as well. That's going to be music to many people's ears. So congratulations on the road so far. Be delighted to kind of jump back on with you at some point in the future and in the next few years and see how it's developed.
That would be amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thanks for your time, Greta. I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you, Michael. Bye.
Bye-bye.